many of you are very familiar with him, but Dr. Plant joined us in May 2019. I can still remember it. I still remember the first presentation that he did. It was at Top Achievers in the Bahamas, and being so blown away and so impressed as he talked about his background. He currently serves as our chief
I was
science.
still out of busy.
Laura, I'm going to have you mute if you don't mind, if you still have me as, if you're still
Make me a co-host. I gave you the host privileges, so I can't.
Ah, okay. No problem.
Sorry.
So, no problem. That's all good. All right. So Dr. Plant currently serves as our chief science officer, but what I think is so impressive most about him is that he also has this unbelievable business acumen. He sees this company from such a different perspective. And as someone who had a firsthand look at other network marketing companies and how they're run behind the scenes, I will tell you that that skill set is so rare to be this brilliant from a scientific standpoint, but also to have the vision and the business acumen to really understand how can the field present it. So I think you're going to get a lot of that tonight. He oversees research and development, product design and development, product commercialization, quality assurance of all of our products. He's the chairman of our scientific advisory board, and he's just brilliant. And so without further ado, without reading more of his bio, but Dr. Plant, I want to just honor you. You're an impressive individual. We are so fortunate to have you on, and thank you for being here. Welcome.
Hey, thanks, Jessica. And likewise, right? Like, I feel bad that I'm getting all these compliments, but I'm totally impressed by you, this call, like a great event that was happening in Florida. I heard so many people were absolutely blown away by all the talks that were given. And so I am in awe of each and every one of you. So thanks for that introduction, and excited to be here. So this is kind of interesting, right? My sister Laura, she came up to me and she said, "Hey, what would you like to talk about?" And there's options of some Q&A. Would you like me to speak on this? And a lot of times people will kind of come on and have slides that they present. And I don't know about you guys, but it's what, 9 o'clock on the East Coast, it's 7 o'clock here in Arizona. And I said, I want to take a little bit of a different approach to this. We all kind of got Zoom fatigue. You guys felt the energy that was there in Florida. And it's a matter now of saying, I think this is a great opportunity to really just have a great casual open heart conversation, because many times there is that lull that can come from such a high, right? An amazing December and January and a wonderful event, and then you come and reality sets in. And so I thought having great off the cuff Q&A would be a great way in which we could talk a little bit. And of course, this is what I love is there is no scripted questions. Everything is open and free to have. And so what I'd love to do is have individuals just put whatever questions they want in the chat. Now, there's one asterisk that I'm going to address for this call today, and that's obviously stuff that's dealing with disease and personal health conditions. One is it's a little awkward for everyone to hear about your personal health conditions, but two, it just, even though it's off the cuff, I still want to be compliant. So won't be able to address those, but any of the other questions, products that may be coming up, products that we have, what is my biggest worry at Isagenix? What is my biggest hope? All of those things, be happy just to talk about those today and kind of say, you know what, everyone has been kicking butt. Let's have a little bit of a get real moment and learn a little bit about what Isagenix is and what's so great about it.
I love that. I love that. I think this is an awesome opportunity. And I have some questions for you, Dr. Plant. I know we didn't give you any preview to them, but I have a bunch that I've gathered from some people. So I may be speaking on behalf of some people as well.
Yep, absolutely.
I can read you what's going in the chat, but in the meantime, let me just start out with this. So 2 new amazing products, the Hydrate and the Hydrate with hyaluronic acid. Amazing formulations. I know people are super excited about it. Will you just address why you're particularly excited about those products?
Yeah. So this is something that's interesting. We all understand the importance of hydrating, and right, we talk about all the time. I have headaches. Well, did you drink enough? Right. I love actually when I talk about hydrate. I just saw like 6 bottles go up and people start drinking. Right. So this is like, we understand the importance of this, but hydrating is more than just drinking water. Right. And we're starting to learn more and more about this. How often is it you drink water and then 2 minutes later you're running to the bathroom? Well, you're not really hydrating. You may be drinking water, but you're not hydrating. Hydrating requires you to actually absorb that water, that which you drank. And do we find ourselves constantly drinking, but also perpetually thirsty? Right? That's a sign that we might be drinking enough, but we're not actually absorbing that water. Now, the way in which our body absorbs water is through a process called electrolytes. Those electrolytes go inside our cell, and it creates a higher salt concentration in our cells versus the water we drink. And because of that, it absorbs. That water moves to an area of higher salt concentration, and that's how our bodies absorb water. And so what we've done is we've created a remarkable hydrating product that has an incredible amount of electrolytes that help you pull in that water in which you consume, whether it be through food, like the watermelon you eat, or even the water that you drink. But in addition to this, combining it with that hyaluronic acid, what we are doing is hyaluronic acid combined about 6 water molecules. One molecule of hyaluronic acid combines 6 water molecules. And what that does is now that hyaluronic acid lives in between our skin cells. And what that means is now that hyaluronic acid, in which you just hydrated with as well, we're bringing in that water with the electrolytes, but now with that hyaluronic acid, we're making sure that that water is going to where we want it to go. We want it to go to our skin to help our skin feel more full, more beautiful, more hydrated, which in turn helps with fine lines and wrinkles. And that to me is the cutting edge power of what we're doing. Hydrating products, electrolytes have been out there before, but giving a targeted hydrating approach is really what is setting Isagenix apart.
I love it. I love it. And that's amazing. And this is going to have no rhyme or reason, but there's questions that people are asking us, and I would love to hear your response.
Bring them in.
There's been a rise in GLP-1 drugs. How does Isagenix fit in? How can we compare that, support it? Tell us about what your thoughts react to those kind of that rise that people are seeing in drugs like Ozempic.
Yeah. So Ozempic, Wegovy, what these are called GLP agonists, not antagonist, agonists, meaning they mimic GLP-1. Our body makes a natural GLP-1. It's a hormone that our body makes. And so these are kind of like hormone mimics, so to speak, or signaling mimics. And what they do is they delay the gastric emptying, which means the food stays in your digestive system longer, which sends signals to the brain to say you're not hungry. So individuals who use a GLP-1 consume significantly less calories. That's how the medication works, as you lose weight by a calorie deficit. And do they work? Absolutely. Do they help you lose weight? Absolutely. Now, here's the challenge. The New England Journal of Medicine study was done where they showed that individuals who lose that weight, they see tremendous amounts of weight loss, but 40% of that weight loss was actually muscle. Only 60% of that weight loss was fat. And so then what happened is in that same study, they had people stop taking the GLP-1, and they gained about 80% of their weight back within the next year, right? They didn't develop healthy habits. Now what has happened is they've lost a significant amount of muscle mass, so their metabolism has slowed down drastically. They stopped taking the GLP-1, and they gained that weight back very quickly. Now, the individuals are in more or less a more unhealthy state than what they began with. They have less muscle mass, they gained the fat back, and so now their body fat mass percentage has drastically increased, slower metabolism and so forth. And so this isn't to say that GLP-1s are bad. There's a place for everything. But Isagenix offers 3 ways to complement this. One is we provide a natural alternative. Individuals who are looking to lose weight but don't want to pay the high price and are wanting to have a natural solution to this can utilize a Isagenix. Our studies, you see about the same weight loss, actually, ironically, as the GLP-1s. The difference is 95% of our weight loss was fat versus 60% on the GLP-1s. And unless your insurance covers it, it's also drastically cheaper, right? So we provide a natural alternative that is much cheaper and much more effective at fat loss, specifically the fat that's around the belly, the visceral fat. Now, for individuals who say, hey, it is nice to where I can just do an injection and I'm not hungry throughout the day. I eat less. Well, those individuals can also benefit from Isagenix. Surround yourself with the Isagenix products, the high quality protein, and following that Isagenix system. Now, not only are you going to be losing weight on the GLP-1, But now you're going to be making sure that you're retaining as much muscle as possible during that process in that GLP-1. This is going to help you when you eventually come off of GLP-1s to make sure that your metabolism is still high. And then finally, for individuals who maybe have reached their ideal weight with GLP-1, but aren't wanting to be on it for the rest of their lives, the isogenic system provides a great option because individuals who do the isogenic system actually maintain the results over the course of a year. And so it can help individuals who are looking for alternatives, individuals who are wanting to retain their muscle while they're on the GLP-1, but also provide a great alternative for individuals who are saying, hey, I've reached my weight loss goal. What do I do now so I don't rebound to where I once was?
Yeah. I love that. And just as a kind of a follow on to that, we have a lot of people, this team went very heavy, very excited about collagen. And we are seeing a little bit of a swing back into where we started in nutrition. And I'm just so impressed. There's so many people. Ann White's led us in a charge of just getting back to the value packs and really just jumping in that way. And I'll tell you, we've seen the team have the downflow effect of these bigger packs. Can you speak a little bit? There's this question always among the team of, are people really just having success because it's a calorie deficit, or are the shakes interchangeable with a shake they could get cheaper at a Costco or a Vitamin World? Can you speak to that, the effectiveness of their system?
So there's studies on this actually, right? So calorie deficit, will it do weight loss? Well, yes, but it matters what type that weight is. That is the key, right? So GLP-1, individuals who are on a GLP-1 are consuming about 1,500 calories a day because they're just not hungry. But as we said before, 40% of their weight loss was muscle, right? So what happens is as your body is saying, where do I get those calories from? It's more or less 50-50 pulling those calories from either your fat stores or your muscle stores. It's just saying, hey, I'm getting those calories. We're in a deficit. I'm going to pull it from either your fat or your muscle. Now, ironically, in the studies that we have done at Isagenix is we compare these to the Heart Healthy Diet or the Mediterranean diet, which has won the best diet of the year award for the last 7 years by these. And so we're putting it up against, the best team. This is like the late 90s Bulls, right? Winning 7 championships in a row. Who does that? And so we're putting the isogenic system in comparison to that Mediterranean diet. And what we find is individuals on these two diets consume actually the same amount of calories. But individuals who do the isogenic system see about twice the weight loss and twice the fat loss, specifically the visceral fat, the fat that's right around the belly behind the ab muscles. That is the most unhealthy fat. And so is it a calorie deficit that helps with weight loss? Absolutely. But the key is because individuals who do the isogenic system, not only are they seeing weight loss, they're seeing greater weight loss, but they're also seeing it being targeted much more specifically for fat loss. And so calories matter, but those types of calories matter as well. Both are true statements. An isogenic system is designed to help you achieve the maximum results by hitting both a little bit of a calorie deficit, but making sure those right calories are there. And because of that, you feel full, you feel much more full than on typical diets. You have a much higher resting metabolic rate. You retain that muscle. You have great benefits across your heart health and other areas that you're not seeing with the other types of calorie deficits that are out there. And can you exchange the shakes? Absolutely not, right? Like this is what's key. The right amount of protein that's in there, the right amount of macros, all of that has been formulated to work as part of that system. How much carbs should you have? How much fiber? How much fat? What types of fat? What type of protein, what type of amino acids that make up that protein, making sure there's a right amount of leucine, one amino acid particularly that actually stimulates muscle formation. All of that is taken into consideration when those shakes are being made.
I love it. I love it. And of course, the intermittent fasting has a component, has a real strong piece to this. Okay. Can you talk a little bit about the elixirs? Because, while we're shifting back into weight loss and our nutrition systems, the elixirs have played a huge foundational role in this across this team and continue to do so. So I'd love to talk about just the trio of elixirs, timing of taking them, how many you take a day, when you take them, if that matters.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's 3 different elixirs and they're very simple. One helps you look better, collagen elixir. You can take this morning, midday, or night. The key is it just has to go into your mouth. We tend to want to overcomplicate things, but the beauty behind this engineering is that you can get tremendous results by simply just consuming. So collagen elixir, great way, helps to diminish fine lines and wrinkles. My wife is one of the biggest advocates of these, and I love that she's one of the biggest advocates. She's over here on the side here, probably feeling a little shy. The second is we want to help you feel better. Adaptogens are a key botanical that help us not live in the extremes. A lot of times when we talk about stress responses, we really don't understand what that means. Now, from a scientific standpoint, we can articulate this. We can actually measure stress. There's certain proteins that you can measure in the blood. There's different signals that our brain gives when we're under stress. And the way that I usually try to articulate this to individuals is we all understand the fight or flight response. This is a response to where, you know, somebody kind of startles you from around the door and you feel that little bit of adrenaline kind of come into you, and you either punch the person or run away, right? It's this instinctual response that happens. That's called the fight or flight. Now, that's one extreme. Now, at the other end of that spectrum is we also have what's called the rest and digest phase. This phase is actually just as stressful to the body. A lot of us can probably relate to this, where maybe the only task that you have is to do the dishes. And yet you find yourself sitting on the couch all day mulling that simple task of doing the dishes. And you're unable to really kind of find yourself motivated to get up and do those dishes. And even though it only takes 5 minutes to do them, you've actually contemplated the task for 3 hours, right? You're stuck in that rest and digest phase. And your body can be stuck in that fight or flight phase. Both are very hard on the body. And that is kind of what we call that lizard brain. Our body has those things just in them for millions of years ago. Those are instinctual responses that we have. And in many ways, that's why teenagers who haven't developed that prefrontal cortex that can sit on a couch for hours, right? They're living in that rest and digest, or they're in that fight or flight where they're not thinking rationally. Like, what were you thinking? That's teenagers live in those extremes, right? But as that prefrontal cortex develops, as you're wanting to have individuals live in that center, that homeostasis, you want to be able to be between those two extremes. And adaptogens help us bring in that is a way. These botanicals that help us do that. So you can feel better with that adaptogen elixir. Now, additionally, right, we're looking better, we're feeling better, but we're also in today's environment wanting to think better. And this is where we've created the nootropic elixir. This uses key botanicals, in fact, a patented ingredient out of a green tea. This isn't just typical green tea. This is a patented ingredient isolated out of the green tea that has been shown in studies to help individuals improve their concentration, help them improve memory, and near-term focus, right? And so this is really critical in today's environment where so many things are coming at us, fighting for our attention, to actually have a tool that helps us stay focused and motivated on the tasks that are at hand, and to be a little bit more present. And so this is a great way in which we can do this and solve these three things that we're all looking for simple solutions to do. I want to look better, feel better, or think better. Then you can take these products any time of the day. The only asterisk is the nootropic one can keep you up at night. So be a little bit careful if you're taking that in the evening. It does contain a little caffeine in it. So, but other than that, I take a lot of all of them continuously throughout the day.
I love it. What are you most excited about in upcoming products? People are asking.
You know, I get this question frequently, and it's hard, right? As a scientist, when you create products, you love each and every one of them, or the unique value they bring, right? It's like asking a parent which is their favorite child. And all of my children are out of the house except for one right now, and so the one that's home is the one, right, is my favorite. But it's hard because you see the benefit of all of these. But really what I'm excited about coming forward is the new opportunities we have at Isagenix. The new board of directors brings a level of sophistication that is unseen in this industry. The resources that are at hand, both financial and other, are unparalleled, and things which honestly I never thought would be possible in the supplement space are now literally at our fingertips to be rolling out. And so in many ways, a lot of times we are recreating and respinning things with minor improvements, right? These incremental improvements on things that are fairly well known, right? Our protein shake differs from other protein shakes, and you see these, and even though we have drastic impacts of that, to the everyday consumer, it's just, hey, what's the difference? And you can get bogged down into those nuanced differences. And the way that I look at this now is we, with the resources at hand, our product development pipeline is no longer playing on that two-dimensional space that a lot of other companies are forced to play on. We now have an access that allows us to play in a completely different realm than others and really separate us, right? And to do this to where individuals, when they talk about the products that we will be unveiling, I believe the first avenue of which we will be looking at is you'll probably see the first ones coming in Celebration, and then over the next 18 months, that these are monumental shifts in products and the services they provide. And it's not saying that they're complicated. It's just simply other people will not have the resources to actually be able to even remotely compete with us. Not that others have been, but man, it will be when others are playing. I think the way my teenager describes it, everyone else is playing checkers and we're playing chess, right? We are completely playing a new level of game that these individuals just aren't able to comprehend. And so we're super excited for this. And that first level is probably going to be coming at Celebration. That's setting that stage for those next 18 months. So I'm super excited. The toolbox that we now have at Isogenics is it's huge. It's absolutely magnificent. So we're really excited about it.
Can you give us any more preview or teaser?
So I guess the big teaser that I'm going to give is I think it's going to set us up to where, and this may be relevant to a lot of you. A lot of times where you may show a product, you might have an engagement where it's like, hey, what's that? Or what do you take? And I don't know what a typical engagement is. Maybe after a post, and let's say you have 5,000 followers, you might get like 10 DMs, let's say. I have no idea what the ratio is. We are anticipating you will probably see an engagement level about 10 to 20 times more than what you would typically have, because it is going to be so different than what anyone else has ever seen. And so we are really excited about what this does from the field with respect to helping them understand. And it's not getting away from our core competencies. It actually reiterates those core competencies and products that we have. So we're really excited for that.
Okay, this is exciting. That is a sufficient tease. Not a lot of
Yeah.
information, but sufficient tease. All right, I love this question. The question is, can you tell us an ideal product day for a woman in her 30s or 40s looking to lean out and keep cortisol low? Just some examples of what does a product day look like for a woman in her 30s and 40s?
Yes, I would say you're going to look at taking an isoline shake 2 times a day. That's going to be the key, right? You're going to want to do that to make sure you keep up that lean muscle mass. It's going to be hitting hard in the 30s and 40s to where that muscle is going to be harder and harder to maintain. This is just part of typically life. So you're going to want to do that. Individuals actually in their early 40s, when they're going through like menopause or mid 40s, studies show that individual women who have more lean muscle mass actually have much fewer symptoms with respect to hot flashes than others. That lean muscle mass is going to be one of the more critical things to actually have a wonderful transition through that. Now, in addition to this, what you're going to likely want as well is in that area is you're going to want to have things that help slow the signs of aging. I think collagen elixir is going to be a great complement to that. Obviously, the adaptogens to help with the stress that comes throughout life, but seems to be pinnacle at that 35 to 45 year range. And so I believe that the key is going to be threefold. One, you're going to want that protein, specifically in those shakes. Taking 2 of those shakes a day is going to be critical. Have a day set aside to where you do cleanse that 600 to 800 calories a day during that one day. Utilizing kind of those Isogenics approved snacks is going to be critical. And then following each day with an adaptogen to help your body not live in those stress extremes. And then obviously, if you're looking to kind of supplement a certain system or area of your life, which I think we're all kind of doing, collagen elixir is a great way to support that.
I love it. Another question is that they asked about just the system for men. You have a 40, 50-year-old man that's looking to lean out, but is wondering if he's really gonna follow the same plan as a woman.
Yeah, ironically, we did clinical studies in both men and women, and we saw more or less the exact same results. In fact, in women, performed a little bit better at increasing muscle strength and performance than men as a percent, but more or less, you could follow the exact same regime and you see more or less the exact same results.
Okay, so from a calorie standpoint, you feel like men are always asking us, do I add more calories or should I really do 2 shakes, a meal and 2 snacks?
Okay, so I'm going to give a simple formula here. Figure out what your ideal weight is. How much do you want to weigh? Now, this is why it can be applied to both men and women. Whatever that weight is, let's say, just for simple math, I want to weigh 200 pounds, right? This is probably just relevant to the men, right? There's probably not too many women that want to weigh 200, but let's say I want to weigh 200 pounds. And you can use the same formula. If I'm a woman, let's say I want to weigh 140 pounds. Whatever that is, times it by 12. That's how many calories you'd have. More or less right around there. And that's why it works for both men and women. Now you have that formula. Here's how many calories I should roughly have in a day. Now, to maintain muscle, you're going to want high quality protein. And how much high quality protein you're going to want? What is your ideal weight? Times that by 1. That's how many grams of protein you'd look. So if I wanted to weigh 140 pounds, I would times that by 12. That's how many calories I should have. And of those calories, I want 140 grams of protein. That would equate to 560 calories coming from protein. Mm-hmm. And so it's a simple equation that I usually just recommend to people so that it doesn't complicate. And the isogenic system is really designed to help you kind of meet that as efficiently and as effectively as possible. And so that's why the system can be so easily adjusted for men and women, is it's really just identifying what that is. And the reason I say that is that calories really helps you set what that third meal should be, right? You understand with snacks that you're taking, the protein that you're getting from the isolate shakes, it's there. Now you're just filling in that third meal variable, not to exceed that calories and to make sure you get that protein content.
Mm-hmm. Another question that people are having, thank you very much for that, is people are asking about the tanning product. Will we come out with the tanning product?
You know, not in the near term. Honestly, this is what we found is we love to kind of put stuff out there to get great feedback, especially if we can put it to our most loyal customers as a free gift or others and say, hey, here's some things that we're excited about or potential. And the feedback we got from that was actually not as exciting as we had hoped. And so rather than introducing a product that may confuse individuals or distract, it just didn't meet the key metrics that gave a green light to go forward. So unfortunately, not in the near term.
Okay. Okay. Very good. Do any of the elixirs people are asking support weight loss? Are there any things that you'd say, are there, collagen or adaptogen or nootropic? Are there any of them that you'd say they have some also indication for weight loss?
Not necessarily. We haven't looked at those particularly. Now, adaptogen elixir can be utilized as part of that weight loss system in place of the ionics.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And then people are also asking, what's your typical day look like?
A lot of headache and frustration. No, my typical day, she's over there. My wife and I usually get up around 5. We'll go walk 2 to 3 miles in the morning with the dog, get back at 6. And so I try to not have my first calories until, now this kind of goes a little bit against the isogenic system, but I just do it out of just how busy that I typically am. So I will typically have my first shake at 12. And so I kind of do a little bit of a cleanse each morning that I do that. I had my first shake at 12. And I will then have my next shake at 3. And then I have my dinner at 6:30 when I get home. Mm-hmm. Largely following that formula that I talked about before. And in addition to that, before 12, I'll have quite a bit of coffee. I'll have, the Isogenics coffee and I are best friends. So I have a lot of nootropic elixir, collagen elixir. I have the elixirs kind of scattered throughout the day. But that is largely kind of the staples that I'll have throughout the day. And then occasionally like an XM Plus or Super Mix in the mornings, alternating kind of between those two.
I think a lot of people are so jazzed up about Happy Mix, about the Moringa products, specifically the Super Mix and the XM Plus. Will you talk about them specifically? I think we feel like a little bit they're unsung heroes.
Yes, they are. This is, and I could speak forever. I don't know how long you have me going here for, but this is something that is really interesting. When we look at moringa is a tree, right? It's not a fruit. It's not a vegetable. It's a tree. We don't hear about that too much, right? We don't hear about eating trees. Well, that's because a tree actually contains parts that are fruits and parts that are vegetables, right? If you think about the orange tree out there, there's an orange, that's the fruit, but the leaves of that tree would be considered the vegetable part of the tree. And so what we did is we actually created a product that contains the leaves, the seeds, and the fruit, all of the different parts of the moringa tree. Now, why is this important? Well, moringa is considered to be the most nutritiously dense botanical on earth, meaning gram for gram, moringa has more vitamin C than an orange. And believe it or not, it has more protein than yogurt. It's got more vitamin A than carrot, right? It's just this nutrient dense of phytocompounds and other components. And what we did is we took all of those different parts of the tree that contain all those key nutrients, and we actually then shade dried them and did other components that you can enrich them significantly. In fact, in each sachet of Super Mix or XM Plus, you have 2 handfuls of fresh moringa leaves that go into each one. And this is critical, right? As individuals see success with this product, the reason that this is such a great product is moringa contains a wide variety of phytochemicals or phytocompounds. These are things that are found in plants and are critical to help us live our ultimate healthy life. And we think in today's environment, we have a very undiverse diet. We typically eat the same 3 or 4 different types of vegetables. We're not getting enough of those vegetables. We're eating maybe 3 or 4 different types of fruits, and we're not getting enough types of those or enough of those fruits that we do eat. And so we have a very homogeneous diet, which means all of these unique antioxidants and unique factors that plants bring to us, we're not really getting that full spectrum of what they offer. Moringa oleifera is a great way of introducing a lot of those benefits to us. And so what we did is we took all of those functional parts of the tree, put it in one single beverage, and delivered it to individuals to help them. And so when we think about the power that that has, one of the greatest things we can do to help with literally happiness is to eat healthy. And we see this has actually been proven, right? We all understand. I've got children, and if I was in a car and I said, hey kids, let's go Saturday afternoon, I said, let's go get ice cream, they would all cheer in the back. And there's all of a sudden an immediate joy that comes from that ice cream cone. Now, what they found is that is a real honest happiness that is there, but it comes at a cost. It comes at a cost of the calories and the sugars and so forth. Now, in a study that was done, they did similar things with fruit and vegetables, and they measured people's happiness after they ate. Believe it or not, individuals who ate those fruit and vegetables scored higher than as if they ate the ice cream. The only difference is what I call the activation energy. Ice cream tastes so good and amazing that there's no real activation energy. I get the reward. I don't have to cook it. I don't have to chew it, right? It comes immediately quick. Mouthfeel, everything. There's no activation energy. Fruits and vegetables, I got to go to the fridge. I got to peel it. I got to cook them. I got to cut them. And it requires that energy. That little bit of energy, that deterrent, that activation energy is required. Usually our mind can't see past that. We can't see the reward that lives just beyond that activation energy. It's the same reason why when the alarm goes off at 5 in the morning, we struggle to go to the gym. Our mind, in many ways, can't see past getting out of bed, getting into the cold car, driving to the gym. But nobody, when they've gone to the gym, actually comes back and says, I wish I didn't do that. They're happy. And so individuals who eat fruits and vegetables actually are happier than those that had the ice cream. The
Mm.
problem is that near term, the brain has a hard time looking past the activation energy required. And so this is a great way, that happy mix is a great way of helping individuals, in essence, achieve that goal with very little activation energy required. You can simply open up that sachet, mix it in, and you're getting all of those critical vital compounds that are so important for overall health and wellness and happiness.
I love that. There was a question about osteoporosis, products for, where has so many people facing the osteoporosis concerns. What would you recommend inside of the Isagenix world?
Yeah. So this is really good. And I kind of hate kind of making this like the catch-all, but the biggest benefit that we can actually provide to our bodies for healthy aging across pretty much every body system is having significant amount of lean muscle. That's it, right? I talked a little bit before. Women who are going through menopause, the more muscle they have, the smoother the transition. Individuals who have more lean muscle have much better cardiovascular health. Individuals who have more lean muscle have much better joint health, much better metabolic health, much better skin health, ironically, right? The list goes on and on and on. At the hallmark of that is actually our skeletal muscle, our joints and our bones are actually significantly more healthy. And so the key of having overall health largely resides on maintaining that muscle mass as we age, which means that Isagenix system is a beautiful way of helping individuals maintain or even increase their lean muscle mass, which in turn helps with a variety of other things.
I love it. Ampline, another darling of people, but I think unsung. Just your thoughts on just Ampline as people are talking to their friends that are looking at a fitness line.
So this is fun, right? This is what I always like to do. When I talk about AMP, it just boils down to one thing. Our products have been shown to work, right? So often people are talking about a certain ingredient or how much this or how much that. I think all of this can be distilled down to a thing is a study was done on our products and published, peer-reviewed, independent parties. And what did the study show? Is that individuals, and this wasn't just on everyday individuals, these were like Division I athletes. So they're at the pinnacle, which means you could imagine the smallest little difference for a Division I athlete is very hard to achieve, right? Like a Michael Phelps to shave off 3% of his freestyle race time would be a huge win, right? That would probably require years and years of training to improve that much more incrementally. And so what we did is the study looked at these Division I athletes, and you're really kind of putting yourself in to say, if it works, it has to work with people that are living and working and putting their body already at its highest level of potential. And what they saw, and this was a double-blind placebo crossover, which means people are taking the product, switching, and seeing the result. It's all like quality controlled every which way. And they saw an actual huge increase in power output, meaning individuals who took the Isagenix products saw significant improvement in their strength and the aerobic activity of those products. And so this was something that's great, because so often in that sports area, people are wanting results, but they seem to just kind of gravitate, I'm looking for a certain ingredient, or I'm looking for this, when in actuality, I think they should be looking for the results. And this is where the Power Line and AMP stand alone in delivering those results.
I love it. Okay, a lot of people across the team are finding new prospects that don't necessarily need to lose weight. They're looking for, they're open to having energy. How do you approach those people? And what do you say about Isagenix in that context?
Yeah, but it's not just for weight loss. In fact, I kind of cringe when people call us a weight loss company, right? I think we are a body optimization company, right? We're really here for individuals, right? My wife doesn't need to lose weight, yet she still does the shakes and we still cleanse. It is a system that is designed to allow you to have the optimal body that you should be having, not just like the way in which it looks, but the way in which it feels, right? Maintaining that lean muscle as we age is a critical factor. And so it helps you age gracefully. It helps you be younger longer. It helps you lose weight for those that are looking to do it. It helps you put on the muscle for those that are looking to do it. It's really just the power of eating right and delivering you the results.
Body Optimization Company, and put that down, guys. That's really such a good sound bite. Dr. Plant, just wrapping this up, because I think you've answered so many questions about the science. Clearly, the lean muscle mass is really a headline here of just how we can help people in so many ways.
Yeah.
I think when I opened this up, I just talked about just your business, your visionary business skill set. And I'd love to just for people to hear what you'd be doing if you were us right now. A lot of people are fired up, coming out of Florida, just ready to go next level. What would you say to this team?
Yeah, I would say from my personal experience is the greatest educator is action. I have seen many tremendous entrepreneurs, and the power that those entrepreneurs seem to have collectively is they're not afraid of failure. They're more inspired by what could be rather than the fear of what may be. And that is something to where they go, and if they had a business or whatever fail, that they learn. They're looking at that as a great opportunity to learn. And it's not something that they could ever read in a book, nothing that they could ever hear from a great life coach. The best educator is action. Go out and move. And what you'll find is that the body adapts quickly. It is a remarkable machine to adapt. And so as you kind of go out there, test the environments of whatever those environments may be in your business circles, you will find that the mind and the body will quickly adapt. It will learn from those mistakes. It will learn from those wins, and it will progress. You know, the great athletes in the world didn't get to where they are by sitting and always listening to a YouTube or a podcast. They were out in their backyard shooting hoops or running. It was action that taught them. It is action that taught their body how to move. And I think that that is relevant in whatever we're doing. Action always will allow your body to adapt and win.
I love that. Getting into action. It's amazing. Dr. Plant, I thank you so much. I think you've provided a formula tonight. I'm going to confirm it because a lot of people are texting me saying, hey, make sure that we get this right. Ideal weight times 12 is the number of calories that you should be consuming, whether you're an active or sedentary person. It doesn't matter. The formula applies.
Yeah,
And
if you're way more active, you're going to put a little bit more, but male or female, that formula applies, right? So if I'm super athletic,
yeah,
I would do more. But yeah, that 12, 13 is usually the number I shoot for.
And an ideal weight times 1 is the amount of protein you should be consuming.
Yep.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, this was an amazing call. I know I got tons of value. I know I'm getting so many messages from people. There's a lot of people in the chat saying how great it was. You're terrific. And we just appreciate you so much being aligned with you as a gift.
Thanks so much. Thanks for having me. Thanks for everyone. It's been an absolute pleasure. Talk to you guys later.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Plant. Take care. Guys, good night. Have a great night. Thank you all for joining. This inspired me. I'm going to go send some messages, get my body into action, get the mind going. I think action, just what he said, the greatest educator is action. I think that is so special and so smart. I hope you guys appreciated this call. I know I did. Erica, you wanted to say one thing.
Can we just talk real quick about February Frenzy?
Yes, absolutely. Erica, do you want to talk about it? Because really, it's the brainchild of Erica Rothenberg. Let me talk about February Frenzy real quick. Erica, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Okay, we'll make this less than 2 minutes. Okay, February Frenzy. If you are in, February is 29 days this year. Guys, there's not many years that we get leap years. This year, we have 366 days to work this business, not 365. With that being said, 29 days, February is the shortest month, yet the most horsepower that we can come out and keep this momentum rolling. So what we're asking for people to do, if you want in, no one's requiring you, no one's making you, but if you want in and you want to create fierce, mad action with this February Frenzy, we are looking for you to make one phone call every day to someone. Reach out to someone, get on the phone, tell them about the opportunity, tell them about the products. That's 1. 2, we are looking for you to try to get 1 enrollment every day. We know you're not going to get 1 enrollment every day. Maybe you'll get 10 enrollments every day. I don't know, but looking for you to get 1 enrollment every day. That's your goal that you're setting out for, right? Then optional, we're looking for you to do a 29-day reset with us. So be a product of the product. There's no better way to be able to talk about it, to feel it, to share it in your stories by being a product of our product. So for 29 days, we're asking you to do exactly what we're asking our customers to do. How beautiful is that you get to share in that synergy with them? So 29 days, February Frenzy. If you're in, every one you enroll 100 BV or more, you get 1 point. If you decide to do the 29-day reset with us, you get 5 bonus points. At the end of the 29 days, we will announce a winner both on Lauren's team and Jessica's team, and prizes to be announced. But if you're in, we're going to be putting a lot of stuff in the thread. We're going to be talking about it every week, and just a great way, because if we all row together, we can create such a mass action.
Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome. I'm in. I know a lot of people have already heard about it. They've heard the whispering about it. Guys, February Frenzy, this is the time to push straight into momentum. The people in January that have had failed efforts of their New Year's resolutions are now like, let me get serious for real, for real. February has always been better than January. So let's do this. Erica, thank you for being the brainchild of that. I know a lot of people had input to it. Ann and Holly, so many people that were in Florida weighed in on this, so I'm fired up. Thank you guys so much. Well, more to come, to be continued. Thank you, Brandy Brokaw. We got a lot cooking. Lauren and I are working on a lot of things, so we'll be in touch. Guys, have a great night.